Good day, my friends. It is great to come to you today. I'm getting ready to go on a week's vacation, so I wanted to give you a little video here before I get going. Now that we've got fast internet, we can get these videos up real quick for you, which is incredible compared to our 11 to 15 hours it took us to get one video up in the past. Just a nightmare. But it's getting better. I wanted to do this video to welcome the new subscribers and the new listeners and those that have been with us a long time. I know a lot of you are listening and don't say much anymore, and I appreciate that. And appreciate all of you getting your health together. This site is a site of pure health, true healing, and spirituality. Spirituality is just my little kick because that's the end all. That's your awareness and how you not only protect, but how you become secure within yourself. This channel focuses on tissue regeneration, the rebuilding of the human body, which is not talked about at all on this planet. And it's too bad because it happens all the time. If you cut yourself, you regenerate that and it heals, right? So it's important to understand a few things, and that's why man suffers. And of course, most of you that have been on this channel for a while know quite aptly. You know, in our medical communities, we've been told that man's suffering is coming from diseases that have unknown origins. And that's only because there's no such thing as diseases. There is always known origins. Life on this planet is a matter of chemistry and physics. Chemistry being orchestrated by physics, by energy. And in quantum, of course, we proved that energy now can be equated to intelligence. And so now that they're finding that energy has intelligence, it's just that bridge to consciousness, to understanding that the driving force of nature is consciousness, is awareness. And there's no definition for that. But we have gotten on this planet so lost in our health issues that people go to school for 10 years, 15 years to try to understand what's going on, and that just makes it worse. Then we have a pharmaceutical company that has gotten so out of balance that the killing rate from pharmaceuticals are millions and millions of people each year. So one has to be real careful in their choices of how they wish to take care of their conditions. If you treat your problems like they're diseases, the chances of your dying or being hurt are extremely high. And when you do treat your symptoms, there is no cure to that because you're not focusing in on the cause of your symptoms, you're treating your symptoms. When you treat your symptoms with pharmaceuticals that suppress the symptoms, then the cause in the body escalates and escalates until the blowback is big. A good example of that, and many of you have taken steroids for acne and things like this, only to see the blowback from that. You can't do that. So it's important to understand why we all suffer. And you have to look no further than hand to mouth. You know, your dietary habits, your drinking habits, your eating habits, what you put on your skin, and of course what you breathe. All these four areas is how you consume chemistry at this level. The air, whatever chemistry man's dumping in it, plus the natural chemistry of the air from the nitrogen to the oxygen to the carbon, etc., etc. Then you've got all, for the ladies, they have all the makeups and antiperspirants, where the antiperspirants, of course, stop and suppress lymph nodes. When you suppress lymph nodes, then, of course, you're going to see a tumor on the other side. So man has been digging his grave by his fork and his spoons. They even have movies on that to show you that. So when you awaken, or when you suffer enough, or maybe when you see a friend feeling really good, maybe that is a little doorway of opening to allow you to break this conditioned consciousness that souls are trained here with, and you can wake up to a new world, And this new world is one of life, full of energy, full of chemistry, and that is only had by not killing your foods before you eat it. Now, for some people, the idea of eating their foods unfired, unprocessed, seems a little strange since for generations we've been firing our foods. And the only reason that you can trace back is when man moved away from the tropics. Remember, the Homo sapien is a tropical species. We're a frugivore. There's only two major frugivore species on the planet, Homo sapiens and primates. These are the two main fruitarians on the planet. It was on the news this morning. It was kind of cute, and this was in Moscow, Idaho. And it was a gentleman that wanted his family to eat more fruit. So he started arranging fruit bowls in all kinds of attractive, beautiful ways and started taking pictures of it. Well, now they have it on display, this huge wall of hundreds of pictures of plates of fruit all put together, and just beautiful as you can imagine. And the town has like a farmer's market, and everybody's into fruits. I think that is so cool. Where did men ever think fruits are bad for you? And you see these people in these higher levels of academics who think that sugars are bad, that all these things are bad, and they just pump high proteins. Well, the sad thing about it is, for you new people, protein might shock you, but protein is our problem, not our friend. All you have to do is be a bodybuilder and build with some proteins and see what happens to your kidneys, your bowels, and the rest of your body in terms of inflammation. It's important to simply understand that you can look at life simply from two sides of chemistry. Chemistry is either base or alkaline, or it's on the acid side. And of course, we talk a lot about that here. And understanding which side of chemistry causes all the pain, the swelling, the breakdown and atrophy of your body is important. In the medical community, they're hollowing alkalosis, and everyone else on the planet is hollowing acidosis. If you understand chemistry at any length, you're going to hollow acidosis, because everything builds and breaks down into acids. Acids are the corrosive, obviously, side of chemistry. You know, one of the biggest problems we're facing is look at all the young folks with acne. Just to give you an example, one must realize there are 4 phases that even the medical doctors talk about. It's 4 phases you learn in iridology, and it's basically the 4 phases of life. You have your first phase, which is called acute. This is by eating something, some proteins, or eating some dairy products, and you get a cold and flu-like symptom. That can be an acute manifestation of the mucus-forming nature of dairy products. Fills your sinuses and your bronchi and your lungs full of mucus, and then you're going to have a cold and flu-like symptom or bronchitis. And here's medical over here claiming these are diseases because they're looking at the bacteria and the things like that, instead of understanding that what's the chemistry that was ingested. And what people don't understand, a lot of chemistry is mucus forming because it's irritation to the mucosa of the GI tract is well known. And dairy products, dairy proteins and gluten proteins are extremely mucus forming. Here's a good example. We showed this the other day, but this is about 4 foot according to the gentleman that's helping this individual clean themselves out. This is around 4 feet long to 5 feet long. And this individual is getting more out, a lot more out than just this. And so to some it's frightening. What in the hell is this? And this is what's called mucoid plaque. It's well known, the mucus forming, but the glue-like nature of gluten and flour products, particularly refined flour products. We use them for paper mache, in China for put fans together, streets have been laid, soles on shoes in Jamaica put on with white flour paste. That's how hard as a rock that the white flour paste becomes. And so we consume that. So our bowels, of course, has been a wreck for 100 years. Our GI tracts are a mess. And you can see the shape and size of them by the stuff that comes out. But when you start cleaning your body out, and we use detoxification as our doorway and our road to Wellville. And Wellville is a place where it's full of dynamic energy, it's high consciousness, and the body is healing as rapid as you heard it. It's unbelievable, Wellville. And Wellville is a balanced state, I'll say a base balanced state in chemistry. It's a hydrated state where your kidneys are filtering and moving out the sewage of the body. Your blood is feeding all the cells well. So a lot of you that are new here, I highly recommend you find the video on the lymphatic system. I don't want to go over that on this video because I'm going to get to some Q&A a little bit here, but I wanted to just say hi and let you know that study that lymphatic system as we put it out there. It is the system that man's problems are in, and this is simply your body's sewer system. And this sewer system is there to protect you. Your blood isn't there to protect you as it is to feed the cells. This is the kitchen. Your sewer system, however, is where you get protected by, and that is the lymphatic system, which is much bigger than the blood. If you realize that the spaces that are around all your cells in your body are called interstitial spaces, and they're filled with 20% blood, around 80% lymph. Lymph always dominates the blood in the human body by far. I think, and we've talked about the nuclear lymphatic system and the other lymph system they just found in the brain. They're finding new parts of this system now in the last 5 years more and more aggressively. It won't be long the medical doctors will finally catch up with their brethren, other medical doctors, who believe that the lymph system is man's problems. They just didn't go far enough. And so that's what we're here to do, is educate the world on how to get well in a simplistic manner. We have been taught that you have to have 10 years of school and then you still can't figure out why man suffers, and that's all bullcrap. There's no such thing. It's easy to understand how you suffer and why you suffer, and it's easy to turn that around. The problem is these 4 stages. All right? So the acute stage, this is when you first manifest something. Subacute. So here's a good example, and I'll give you this one. I gave you this one before. One day, years and years ago, I was craving a malt. Used to have them when I was growing up. So I put it off for about a month, and I just really wanted a little chocolate malt. So I went into the mall down here and asked them if, this is a little ice cream shop in the mall, and I asked them if they had little baby malts for babies, little kids. And the guy said, yeah, we do. I said, I just want a taste. That's all I want. So just give me a little bit. So he made me a little one, and by the time I walked out of that mall to my truck, I had a sore throat. And I knew why, because milk is very mucus-forming, extremely mucus-forming. So what's connected to mucus when you have these symptoms in your body? Oh, cold and flu, sinuses, bronchitis, pneumonias, all those things, not created by pneumococcus or any bacteria, it's created by mucus. And where does this mucus come from? Your own body. It is a protection. Mucus is a protection from the mucosa. And it's simply wrong food for wrong species and the wrong time. You know, milk's only for the infants, and short term. All animals, if you watch animal programs, try to wean the kids just as quick as they can. And this is same with humans. Some humans are nursing babies way into the 2 and 3 years. Ridiculous. A year at the very most. Babies need to be on these fruits to develop their neurological systems and things like this more. And we are, I did tell you, I just showed you, we haven't got it up yet. We're showing you the difference between the chemistry of all the different milks to put it in the public's face that human milk mimics primate milk. And no other milk on the planet does it mimic like primate's milk. And it wouldn't. Because all these are different vertebrates, different species. You've got omnivores, carnivores, and herbivores. We're frugivores. So it's just different levels of species. But the frugivores are the higher neurological species on the planet. So it is why fruits are essential, because fruits have the highest electromagnetic energy of all foods on the planet and some of the highest nutrition, picked ripe. particularly the berries. Woo! Loaded. And of course the berries are all for your glands. But this site is a detoxification / tissue regeneration site, because in today's world you have to regenerate some genetic weaknesses. There's no two ways about it. And the babies have to regenerate some genetic memories in their cells. You just got to. This is real bad out there. And if you get a look at this, and you can predict the future real easy when you get to see the spiraling downhill of man and his health issues. Scary stuff. But man is still sleeping. Man is not wakening up. But this channel, a lot of souls are wakening up. And this is excellent, because now people are getting their health back. You're seeing MS walk. You're seeing spinal cord injuries walk. You're seeing all kinds of people with arthritis and stuff get their remedies and stuff. So you're seeing all this, because there is nothing out there you can't cure, that you can't regenerate. You might be in some of these higher levels that you just can't make it. So let me just go on just a little bit, because these subacute stages, going back to this milkshake, I knew that I created this. So as soon as I got home, I ate an apple. And within a couple of minutes, I spit up a great big wad of mucus, no more sore throat. I spit out what I just created, because I knew I created that. Right? Had I not known that, I would have thought I caught something in the maw, so I would go to the medical doctor, maybe get an antibiotic or something like that, suppress that mucus that I just created. When I do that, I move my acute manifestation into a subacute manifestation. At the subacute stage, you don't even know you have a problem, generally speaking. And as that subacute, and as each acute symptom is suppressed, and everything gets deeper shoved in the human body, more pharmaceuticals to suppress the symptoms. Everything is suppressing and locking it into your body. Now you're moving into the chronic stages. Chronic is always hypo. Subacute, hyper or hypo. You can have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroid, hyperpituitaryism, hypo. You can have anything in these two stages, because it's inflammation like crazy. However, in enough time to where all this inflammation starts burning back on the cells, everything, and the glands become full of mucus, because your whole body can become full of mucus. And that's what you see coming out when you detoxify. We move into chronic levels of problems. Chronic is always hypo and very underactive. That's low blood pressures, low blood sugars, low adrenal functions, low bowel functions, all these functions from thyroids, chronic. And this is where the average person is right now on this planet, is in the chronic, and many in the next stage, degenerative. You've ever diagnosed with a cancer cell by a pathologist, that means that cell is in a degenerative state. And how did it get there? It didn't just become degenerative, it had to go through these 4 phases to get there. So when you're diagnosed with a cancer cell, that means you've had years of building up acidosis that finally becomes intra, meaning inside the cell acidosis. And when you start building up acids intracellularly, you're just configuring mutation all over the place. Outside of the cell, you've got cholesterol that protects the cell, and phospholipids and stuff. So it's a big deal. And so when you feel pain, that's inflammation. And acidosis, meaning the building up of acids in the body, is inflammation. It creates an immune response called inflammation. But it's 2 proteins which are considered acids. This is why we're going to show you these cancer cells, to show you the proteins and the mucus around them. And you'll see this in research. You'll see this in research on all the diseases. Look at the research on Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's has got amyloid plaque. Well, hello. This is the same thing as you see here, just about different location. But this is what happens. Endometriosis, the same stuff. This is mucus and proteins all building around cells. And just use the word acids, because every cell in your body eats and poops. Every cell, and you got 100 trillion of them, or somewhere around that. No one's ever found the final analysis of how many cells do comprise the human body. And, of course, subtract a few if you have organs and glands removed. So the human body is nothing but cells and two fluids. That's it. You got a little water in there, but cells and two fluids, and the two fluids take care of the cells. It's that simple. When the two fluids cease to take care of the cell, symptomology begins. And 99.99%, it is not a blood problem. 99.99%, it's an acid lymphatic problem. Your lymphatic system is simply the body's sewer/immune system. We also know it's a lipid carrier system, carries fatty acids from the small bowel, from digestion up to the liver. So we know a lot of things there. It's just all the parts of it have never been found yet, and you're seeing it being found every few years in research. So you want to make your journey to Wellville fun as you can, because your whole life experience is in your hands. It's how you make it. And a lot of you are very aware souls. Your spirituality is what you're seeking as well, and I love that side of it. Spirituality simply is an awakening process where you're awakening. You already are from the Godhead. You don't need to know anymore. It's not about knowledge. To have God awareness and to go back home is not about knowledge. And who learns the most wins. That's actually the opposite. You have to be careful, because in academics, if you study too much, you lose. Because now you get so wrapped up in your mind and knowledge that you've lost the present moment. You've lost where all knowledge is. See, we're seeking knowledge external to ourselves, which is all in bits and pieces. That's creation. And the mind has to analyze and figure it out and compare and rationalize. Consciousness isn't that way. Consciousness knows it all because it's all within consciousness. That's the original awareness that all life springs out of. And that's where you come from. Some people refer it to the higher self, but there's no such thing as the higher self. You just have the self. You. Now we're using bodies. Your physical body isn't you. You're just using it. Your emotions aren't you. You're using it. Your mind isn't you. You're using these tools. And you can have fun with them, or they can control you and ruin you. So this is as much about awakening, becoming awakened, more aware of truth and those things of life on all levels, as opposed to this idiocy of treating symptoms and creating these illusionary diseases and throwing people in jail and fighting. It's a mess. The death rate is so astronomical, it's a mess. It's a mess. And even these docs getting killed like that. And if what is being portrayed out there is true, there's some major criminal activity by pharmaceutical companies that is why they're probably being killed, because the suggestion is that pharmaceutical companies through vaccines suppress macrophages in humans. And if that's true, that vaccines suppress macrophage activity, that's a criminal, that's a crime, because no one now can fight cells that are damaged, which they call cancer, because they killed your macrophages. It's really hard to take a look at this and digest this as if there's anything civilized or sanity about it. When Consumer Reports puts on the front cover of their magazine, protect yourself from your hospital stay, over 450,000 people died last year, only in America. That's only in America. And that's because I spent a lot of years in hospitals, so if I was to judge what I saw in hospitals and deaths and how they categorize them versus those that are listed as actual deaths from these things, you probably can double that easy. You could double the 450,000 easy. I think you'd be safe to say that probably well over 1 million die in hospitals. That's just from this one side. Allopathically, probably 2 million at least people die in America from allopathic procedures, pharmaceuticals, and the like. So on this site, you're going to see me a little hard on sometimes the medical community. And it's only because they mess things up real bad. We're in serious trouble because of using pharmaceuticals on humans to treat symptoms. And a lot of the medical doctors have no clue. They are not informed. They don't care. They don't research. And so a lot of medical doctors tell you things that are not even true. Matter of fact, several medical doctors have come out, neurosurgeon, also Dr. Tenpenny, a famous ER doc, about vaccines and the fact that the CDC centers have lied to medical doctors about the test results. So what's going on here? Health is something simple and natural, and it springs out of your lifestyle. We were never meant, neither any other animal was meant to process or cook your food. When you do that, you lose. When you feed cooked food to animals, they get the same, what you call diseases, as you do. You can't eat cooked food, you kill it. And chemistry comes just the way nature puts it together, and it's electrified because chemistry is electrical, because it comes from electricity. It is energy first, and then it is chemistry second. So this chemistry is electrified when you get a piece of fruit or a piece of vegetable. If I cook that or in some way process that, I just destroyed the electromagnetic energy out of it. To show you this, a piece of broccoli raw has about 9,000 units, let's just call it, or angstroms of electromagnetic energy. Cook it and it pulls it down to about 1,000. Well, everybody's bitching about no energy and fatigue and tired, and yet you cook your food, you just pull your energy out of you. You know, because the law of homeostasis. You cannot enter a field of low energy and expect to be vital from that. That's a law of physics that it'll pull you down even more. If you want energy, you must consume energy. And, by the way, be energy. Be pure energy. Be pure consciousness. Be pure awake. And that comes when you can control your mind, when you can set your mind outside of yourself and let it do its job over here while you're watching. You're not following your mind wherever it's going, because then you lose yourself when you do that. But it's fun to get healthy. It's fun to feel healthy. And it's fun to get this crap out of your system. And you can see some gnarly stuff coming out. Doesn't matter through the years how you accumulated all that. It's coming out. Matter of fact, I've seen old mold. I've seen fecal matter that's been implanted in people for years. When it comes out, it's moldy, full of mold and stuff. I've seen that a lot. Matter of fact, you can see a little mold on this one. But it's just the, the nature of burning the wrong fuel. Fuel leaves residues, and some fuel leaves bad residues. That's why we have to make sure that the gasoline and the diesel we put in our vehicles are clean burning, because all chemistry is not clean burning. And so then you leave residues in the body that's sticky and gluey, and the body has a hard time getting them out. And if you're not eating anything raw, you're not eating anything with astringents and bitter principles and stuff, you're not going to clean yourself. The nice thing about fruits and berries and melons and vegetables is they're self-cleaning. They clean your body while you're eating them too. How can you ask for anything better? All the other food, the grains, the beans, the dead animals, and all this stuff leave bad chemical residues that need a lot of gnarly-looking bacteria to go after them. And then we complain about E. coli or H. pylori or something like that in the body when it's really we that created the problem. We just created a terrain for those boys to enjoy themselves. Well, we can kill them, but haven't we learned by now that you can't kill bacteria without having serious repercussions? Absolutely. And if it's true that in antibiotics there's lymphatic suppressors and stuff, that's serious stuff. Serious stuff. And all the sulfur that was used in antibiotics and other pharmaceuticals, look at all you guys with all the sulfur buildup in you. That's gassy, bloaty. You always feel bloaty and have gas in your bowels. You feel like you have constant acid reflux. One person has it so bad they've had a constant UTI for years. And it's just high sulfur, and the sulfur is in her bladder, in her kidneys, it's everywhere. And this poor thing has to feel like she has a UTI for that long. If you ever had a UTI, most uncomfortable thing there is. Especially in the bladder, if you have interstitial, say, cystitis type, which is all interstitial, guys. It's all interstitial. It's all around the cells, interstitials around the cells. There's spaces around all the cells. These spaces are full of fluid. What we don't understand is that your kidneys and your skin are the eliminative organs of sewage from inside your body. You either sweat it out or pee it out, and if you don't, your skin starts to blow back on you. Red, so you have psoriasis or eczema or acne, whatever you wish to call it, doesn't matter. It's all acids from inside of your body. You can't treat it. You can't topically treat it. You can put salt water and stuff to help because this is acids, so anything alkaline will help. But until you get in the body and clean it out and get the kidneys filtering again, and this is going back to kidneys. So very important to look at that video on the lymphatic system and learn about the kidneys and kidney filtration, because this is a big deal. Now, there's always symptoms when you start detoxifying, and we call them healing crises. And these healing crises can be anywhere from cold and flu-like symptoms, in other words, the mucus coming out that you created, or pain. The pain comes from areas where you have acids build up or you have genetic weaknesses. You're going to feel them. It depends how weak they are before you feel them. But you can feel, let's say you have a weakened elbow. You can feel pain in your elbow for a day or two or a few hours, and then it's gone. Then it's over here, or it's over here. You'll start to see the traveling nature of the body cleaning itself from one spot, then another spot, then another spot. It's amazing. I don't know how you could figure that out, but interesting stuff. It's enough to say, getting well only is the proper and the vital thing for most of you to do. When you find yourself in these degenerative states, you've been diagnosed with cancer, it's in multiple places, but it would be in multiple places, wouldn't it? You know, when you're diagnosed, let's say you ladies with a breast tumor, your whole side of that body's involved lymphatically, not just the breast, the whole side. Your kidneys are sided. Right kidney drains the right brain all the way down the body on the right side, right breast, right arm, right leg, right testicle, right ovary. Goes out of the right kidney, the left side, the left. So always we have one kidney weaker than the other, so we always seem to find our problems on one side of the body over another. Eventually it all goes down and you have problems all over the place. I would say the most important thing that you can understand is the medical terminology cancer and what that really means to you and why you can't treat it. There's plenty of studies up. We're working on our website to get them up for you. But the bottom line, the average study shows that 97% of people that take chemo die. Now, there's a thing going around in oncology where medical doctors are telling people that they all have an 85% cure rate. Matter of fact, another oncologist yelled at one of our clients the other day for no reason, and she's telling her she has 85% cure rate. Sorry, but when the medical doctor tells you that, you want to put them right on the hot spot. You want to see their clients. You want to take 100 of them and you want to follow that 100. Because let me tell you, the cure rate in oncology is nil, next to none. There is no cure rate. If you can survive up to 5 years and over, you're into the 3 percentiles. Now, if you're under Berinsky's care, you might be up to the 20 percentiles because Berinsky has a far better result than oncology does. But he's a medical doctor, uses neoplasms and stuff to help you, called the urine doctor in Texas. But it's enough to say is, it's easy to understand why the body forms tumors and how you simply get rid of them. And you get rid of tumors by reversing how you create them. Most foods that people are eating today are compromising to the lymphatic system. High-protein diets destroy the kidneys and GI tract. I can't tell you how many studies have been done with high-protein diets in colon cancer, and it's, you can't. I think a couple of years ago there was a 30-year study. It's hard to deny that. And then, but what they're not looking at is what it's doing to urinary tract tissue, kidney and bladders. And high-protein diets rip your kidneys and bladder. If you have kidney pain, let me suggest this. If you have a lot of pain in your kidneys, take a week and just do raw fruits, berries, and melons, and maybe a salad every day. About the end of the week, you should be pain-free from that. Now go out and have you a protein meal. Just have you a big steak and potatoes, and you tell me What's going to happen with that kidney that had the pain in it? Doesn't have the pain anymore in that week on the vegetables and the fruits. Now let me show you what's going to happen when you have the protein again. It's in your face. And it shows you right there what happens when you consume protein during pain. But pain is an acidosis experience, and proteins are acid forming. So when you're consuming acids when you're in pain, it escalates the pain. So why would you take chemotherapy, which is an extreme acid, on top of? Now, some of the oncologists are claiming their chemotherapy is a lot milder. And it's possible. If you're taking a 6 pH chemo, then the chemo, you would have to look at the action of the chemo. Because all chemo causes cancer. All radiation causes cancer. That's been documented and well known for years, and yet they keep using it. Matter of fact, that system is getting more bold and brazen. They're putting young ladies with psoriasis on chemo. I mean, it's almost consuming itself in negativity. And I can't help it, because when you're here and you see the amount of suffering and you see the stories told, you have to be strong to handle that and to be detached. You know, it stresses my spirituality. Sometimes I feel like Jesus in the marketplace when it just stretches your consciousness when you see the fouling of man like that. And this is far worse than any marketplace. This is very serious stuff. People by the millions are being killed worldwide. You don't need to be. You know, of course, it is population control, so maybe that's the way God intended it. But I just don't look at things like that. I think that everybody has a chance. And, you know, yes, you can work out your karma. And yes, this is all karmatic. But meaning you created it sometime in your journey, and now you have to unwind it. And that's what we like to do here. We like to help you unwind your karma so you can be free in this lifetime and learn how high you can go in the God worlds. And there's a lot of fun. We try to get you all to do out-of-body travels and stuff like that, because there's nothing more fun than going out of the body traveling. It exposes so much more of what life is. We're just here on a little bitty rock spinning through space. It's funny when you saw that picture from the Hubble telescope where these galaxies were chasing each other around the universe. And these were galaxies bigger than our Milky Way. And they were just chasing each other around the universe. The dance of life, the drama, the dharma of life. Amazing, beautiful stuff. But here we've gotten so acidic and foul that man doesn't enjoy the beauty of things anymore. He destroys the beauty of things. So if you're suffering, you don't have to suffer. But you do have to spend some time changing your lifestyle, changing the way you eat, and cleaning yourself out and rebuilding it. There's only one way to really do that. I mean, there's a lot of different arguments out there in natural health, but really there's only one true way to do this. And that's nature's way. If you understand our species and understand all, there's only one real way to do that. And we all should be on board with that. Oh, you can add this and that here and there, like baking soda and a few things like that in your journey to help it, alkalizing and things like that. But you have to be real careful of the things you add, because sometimes more is not better. Sometimes simplicity is far better and far stronger than too much complication. I've seen people come in here with bags and bags and bags of supplements, and they're still suffering bad, still full of tumors and everything, because most people are that treat, especially even medical doctors and naturopaths. The naturopaths is in a sad state right now. They don't know how to cure anything either, because they got trapped in this illusionary concept of diseases with them. Because most naturopathic schools are owned by medical doctors. And we have to break that. This is the 21st century. We have to break that consciousness of treatment of diseases and understand that all these symptoms are all created by you and your ancestry. And you can reverse these. You can go back and change the consciousness of each of your cells. You can reverse genetic weaknesses and rebuild tissue. And that's the end-all goal of this site, is to teach you how to regenerate your body. But the doorway is detoxing to get there. You have to clean out and get the acids out of your body, get all the heavy metals, the neurotoxins, excitotoxins from our society, and the pesticides and herbicides and all the crap we breathe, and the colognes and the perfumes and all the chemicals. Man started losing his health when he moved into northern climates. You can tell that by the average age compared to islanders. You get into Alaska, and when Alaskans were first discovered, I think their average age was only 46 years old, about the same in Jesus' time. So there's a lot of societies that had very short lives. So with chemicals and things like that, we learn to sustain and try to keep people alive longer, but to tell you the truth, we've created chronic and degenerative conditions by doing this. You know, an average islander, if you're brought up from an islander family, there's no reason you can't be in your 90s and 100s. That's very common. So now that we have all kinds of crap on islands and stuff, and we have the same foods, that's not happening anymore. But islanders were always frugivores, and we've talked a great deal about that. I would love to, next time I get a 100-year-old in here, I'll bring them in here and we'll film. And we'll talk about it, to show you guys. Because I've done my own China study here, and I'm telling you, the islanders have always been the healthiest people. Always. And the longest lived. So when you look at that, and you look at people that are on all meats and high proteins, they're the shortest lived. But when you go and you look at the animals on the high protein diets, like the cats, they're all sleepers. They sleep 20, 22 hours a day. They have low endurance. But, you know, they're big animals, so they are strong in that way. But don't make this complicated. The only complication to this is healing crisis, and that's only when you know how to help yourselves. Sometimes you can, you know, just have a bad cold and flu-like symptom, have a lot of mucus in the lungs, have a little pneumonia-type symptom, but no one ever dies from pneumonia. They die from the treatment of it. More people die from the treatment of their problems than from their problems. But that's been hidden away, so you don't think that. So man's consciousness, here we're going to do that little hand, so wipe our hands off and clean the bacteria off everywhere. That's how powerful the AMA has gotten, to have that much influence. That's because the news media doesn't cover our side of things. They're all on one side. So that's basically all you hear. Now you're hearing a little more and a little more and a little more. You're hearing a lot more about, you know, like Dr. Oz and other people that are bringing out the raw foods a little more, health a little more. So no longer is raw foods a voodoo. You see it a lot more. Chili's down here sells more salads than any other food. So more and more people are getting into salads and things, but they need to take another step up and demand good, ripe, tree-ripe fruit. I was in the grocery store today getting some oranges because we still have navel oranges down here. What was I looking at? Peaches. Nice, beautiful peaches. Hard as a rock. Hard as a rock. Well, the only way you can ripen that hard peach is fermentation. And that's not bringing flavors back into it. It's that fermentation. It's dying. So fungus is needed to break it down. You get mold on it, and pretty soon it's dead. Which gets molds on it first? Cheese, bread, or grapes? Well, it'd be cheese or bread, wouldn't it? That's what fungus likes. So when you're craving fermented foods, guess who's craving it for you? Let me see if I get everything covered here. Yeah. Should have. But this site's to enjoy. For you out there that are working, we have a lot of Facebook sites here and there. We've got the club for you to get a hold of and join and enjoy that. Like I say, our website, I hope to be like no other. We're going to have we're linking like crazy and adding as much as we can. Our web guys have been away on vacation, so we haven't been able to get things up for you. But this is education. And we have to break the past. We have to break this cycle that's been going on too long here. We have to lift this cycle up a little bit. So we just have to break it. And there's nothing more important than to break it on health. music would helped us for a while, but we're reached another level of stagnation. And the health is where it's at, because there's way too many people dying, way too many babies dying, way too many babies going under the knife and having bizarre treatments because they can't digest foods, like the knitting procedure and things like this. This is bizarre stuff happening out there. And I don't want you guys to get caught in it, because it's not pretty. And it's not pretty to see the babies. I showed you the pictures of the babies from the vaccines. You know, and now California, I looked at that today, looking at all the wildfires. I said, you know, this is all karma, guys. You guys are passing laws to force people with vaccinations, which is destroying a lot of babies' lives. No one's talking about that. So when you see a pharmaceutical company pushing vaccines, they know damn well that all the ADD, all the seizures, all the mutilation from vaccines is out there, and they still push it. See, these people have no emotional consciousness. That's why they're intellectuals. So they don't have, if you're an intellectual, the one serious thing you have to be careful about is to lose your compassion and emotions, because it'll keep you in creation a lot longer than an emotional person. You'll get yourself locked in here lifetime after lifetime after lifetime through the mind, because the mind just makes karma, just doesn't even have any self-understanding. That's why you have to wake up out of the mind a little bit to start to control it. And if you don't have the emotional component, you just spent most of your time building your mind. That builds narcissism and elitism, and that's a separation that some people don't realize they have. That emotional component is vital to help you have some control over how the mind sees and does things. And this is what you don't see. If you want to know coldness, go to an oncologist. These people, even the females, are cold as ice. I'm sorry, but you guys create this. And so, you know, that's not about love, and that's not about healing. It's about treatment of symptoms. And when you realize the average chemo nets an oncologist $300,000 to $1 million, you can see why they push it. That'll build them a nice house, just one person alone. It's out of control massively. And that's why our insurance is out of control massively. We were approached by a person that works at one of the bigger health companies, and was interested about putting all their workers on raw foods, you know, and getting them healthy. And I said, that's a piece of cake. What about all the other people? You know, all these high blood pressures and all the money that trickles in, all those things are easy to clean up. If you're walking around with high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and all this crap, those things are easy to get rid of. The complication is the degenerative conditions. You know, in chronic conditions where you've been in pain for years, your body's distorting, your hands are looking back at you, your fingers are getting big at the knuckles and distorting. That's all acidosis. And you know what? You can correct all that. But you got to spend some time eating properly. And eating properly is eating the foods your body is designed to eat, and the human being, the Homo sapien, is a frugivore. I don't care if you have a salad a day, but if you want to detox, you do not use vegetables to detox. You use the closest food you can to fasting, which is fruits, berries, and melons. They have all the proper properties, energy, and astringents, and all that to buffer or to be right there close to water fasting. Because water fasting is, as we've talked about, the way you detox. But you can do a great job on herbs and fruits, and you can clean your body out, get all the tumors out of them, rebuild tissue that's been damaged, things like this. So that's what this site is, to have fun. And all you Facebooks and sites, these are all unofficial sites, no question. We don't monitor any sites because we can't. We're too busy. So we can't do that. Some of our staff tries to get on a couple of sites, but they're refused. So when you refuse our staff on your site, Facebook site, then we start to wonder, because our staff is geared to protect this level of health. This level of health has to be protected, or it'll fade away, and then this planet will be void of Homo sapiens. This is the only level that'll save this planet. That's why it's being introduced to you at this time. You can't no longer play games and waste your time playing in fields of dreams and playing with all these different types of thoughts out there. You got all different levels of thinkers out there in health. What you want is someone that's had 40-some years of clinicals where you see it on people. You don't care what the effects are clinically, and all these studies that they're quoted, you have to understand that most medical studies are bogus studies. This was from 60 Minutes and others who have looked at these studies and said these are bogus studies. And I'm sure there's a bogus study right now going around about 85% cure rate in oncology. That's a bald-faced lie. I don't know why they even would get away with that. But we do not have a Department of Justice in the America that's honest. Our Department of Justice, everything's gone political. And what they will do, lie, cheat, deceit, I'm telling you, I've been in front of the Department of Justice. They're liars. They lie to the judges all the time. They lied in my case quite a bit. It's just the way they are. There's no truth and honesty anymore out there, hardly. But we want to start that back up. We want to be those that give truth, honesty, and integrity to the world. Because if they don't see it, this world is going down. Well, that affects the whole. Everything affects the whole. This is why it's so important at this level. Come up a little bit, wake up a little bit. But this is especially true for you souls, that this is your time to leave. There's a lot of you that have been in this level for a long, long time. And it's time to go home. So, if what I'm saying is catching you, keep surrendering to the now, the present moment. Let your mind, let your emotion, let all that go. That's the soap operas. You're in the reality of life. And it is so nirvanic, so full of ecstasy and joy that there's no friggin' words. That's why anybody that's had out-of-body experiences will tell you they don't want to come back here. And they didn't even go anyplace, really. Maybe to the astral world. Take some bigger, deeper rides. Let me tell you, it's hard. It's hard to come back here because it's just so opinionated, humans are just so locked in. We need to unlock some doors here on this planet. Bring the light in, bring the sound in, bring the power of God in here. And that's what we're doing. But I need all you to help me do this. One person can't stand alone. 11:11. Remember, we stand alone, but we work together as one. Because we're all from the one. So you want to look at your neighbor and look at your friends as unique individuals because you want to love individuality. You want to enjoy the joy of individuality. It's not fun, two things being the same. Look at all the people that try not to have two things the same. Oh, his truck looks out. I'm not going to put that on my truck because he's got his own. That's my son right there. No, I see that wheel all the time around here. No. Young people particularly don't want to be like the other young people. They want to be their own individual self, which we should be. Socialism is not a God thing. It's a mind thing, and it's perfect for control. You know, you get a bunch of people believing a thing, and you're controlling that. And that's what's going on around the world. And that's what's been going on in the American Medical Association. Not to beat them up, they keep beating them up, but you have to understand there's some bad things going on right there right now that is partly criminal, it's immoral, unethical. There's all kinds of things going on. We all need to hold hands, us physicians, medical, naturopathic, and change our ways to this higher level of healing so this world has a good chance to, and everyone can get out of their karma and not suffer so much, you know. I hate suffering. It's just sad to see. Death is just transition from one body to another. You're just changing your view from one body. Now you're in another one. This is dead. Now you're in another activity. When that goes, you're in another activity. Until you wake up. When you wake up, you're not into these activities anymore because you have the whole 360-degree view. It's amazing. Let me grab a little water. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I don't have any help. This is Sunday evening, and I wanted to get in here and give you a little goodbye for the week, and hope you all are doing well. All you guys and gals that know the truth, protect it, okay? When you feel like on these sites something's not going right, you stand up for that. Because it is so easy to have the ego trip you up and you not even know it. You just see it all the time. You start dominating and dominating. This isn't about dominance. It's about sharing and opening up and giving each other hugs and really bringing out there. Because if you get yours, you don't need your ego. You don't need it because you already got your sucre. You don't need that because it's no longer between you and other people. That's not where your sucre is anymore. You don't have to show off in front of other people. You and God, you got your sucre. You know totally who you communicate with now and who you're with. So it's just another level, and a beautiful level at that. So it's just, I do want to get to some Q&A if I can here. And Dana, you never said why you sent me this book, Dr. Jensen's Volume 1. But some of us have had a lot of years here. I didn't realize the years piled on me. Years ago when I met Doc, he'd had a lot of years under his belt, of course, before me even. And I thought, wow, that's cool stuff. You know, being an older person coming through with N.W. Walker and all these great raw foodists in the time. But we're the raw foodists of the now, and we have to keep this out there and keep the fruit level out there, because that's just the level. It's essential right now to reinstate the fruit level. Vegetables are more earthly, and that's okay for people that are more earthly. You know, there are some that are not awakened spiritually, and that's okay. They're just at the level they need to be for whatever, you know, their journey is. And some of those are vegetable eaters. I'll say this, and I know it sounds a little wild, but your diet is directly related to your state of consciousness. That's simple. Now, there's a point where you use diet to control and try to keep a state of balance. That's a little different. But if you go out there now, basically, people that eat certain ways have certain levels of understandings. And it's just kind of, you know, that sort of thing. So we push out there, you are what you eat. You know, if you want to eat dead animals and deal with all that anger and adrenaline and all that, then that's what you do. But that type of food is inflammatory to the human body, wrecks the bowels and kidneys. All proteins do. Beans and grains. These are dead foods. So people try to sprout them. Oh, okay, sprout them. I don't care. Now you got a plant. Much better. But is it a really worthy plant? Because you really, if you're going to ingest foods, you want to ingest foods with a consciousness that's real high and that translates into your body as a high level of healing and cleansing to you. You know, each food has its own, each plant has its own state of consciousness as it bears its fruit for you. You know, there's a burger place up the road my son was telling me about, and it's got a t-shirt that says something like, thousands of plants are killed every year by vegetarians, eat meat, or something like that, you know. And I said, get me that shirt. I want that shirt, and I'm going to change it. Millions of plants are killed every year by vegetarians. Become a fruitarian, or eat fruit. I mean, if you're a Hindu, you understand where I'm going with that, don't you? You understand that if you want to live in your religion at the highest level, then you don't want anything but fruits, berries, and melons. You want to eat what a plant or tree bears. That way it'll keep you at the highest level of your thinking, of your religious teachings. I call the Upanishads or Hinduism religion, but I guess we have to call some things things. It's all fun stuff, and it's all enlightening. where you can grow and you have a path to grow. Right now we're bumping uglies and all around because no one knows what to do. A little supplement might make you feel better here, better there, but it's not regenerating your body, and it's not addressing or reversing how you're causing the problems. Very little is understood about the lymph system. Even naturopaths are not taught to treat or to go after the cause of things. Well, that's old naturopathy. Most of what you see is naturopathy, but with a twist. I created my own system. I took naturopathy and herbology and put them together and turned around why we use botanicals. You want the magic of life. The magic of life is found in the botanicals. That is God's pharmacy. And pharmaceuticals companies should stand up and take special note, even though they've used them for years as terms of isolates and active principles. You know, we're talking about the dit jinjiao again and how powerful an old family remedy like dit jinjiao can be. This is a martial arts herbal formula, an ancient Chinese formula that if you get these old martial art families or you get into the old monasteries, like the Shaolin temples, this dit jinjiao, this will take inflammation almost immediately out of your tissues. I mean, it's just, when you get old herbal formulas that are put together precisely and what do I want to say, distilled and processed properly, you got something powerful. And it doesn't have a pharmaceutical death kill or cause all the other symptoms that you have to go through to take something. And when you're on 2 and 3 and 4 and 15 pharmaceuticals and they all have symptoms, why? Why, when you can simply reverse how you created your problems and fix them and you're done? You got tumors, get them out. They simply will reverse the way you created them and they'll come right out of you. But if we treat the body like we're catching diseases from who knows where, Moose Jaw, Alaska, then we live in that world of hell and no one knows how to fix you because those people that perpetrate the concept of diseases don't know how to cure them. We can take pharmaceuticals to help with the symptoms. That world is a lonely, fearful, and cold, dead world. The living world is in our world, raw foodus, where foods and herbs and things that are alive and things that have consciousness to them, that's what this field is all about. This field is about rebuilding your body, feeling good, touching the shoestrings of God, so to speak. Traveling in all the God worlds and enjoying higher things of life. Good thing to do. Well, let me get to some of these Q&As. And I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, don't ever be afraid of herbs. Taste them, play with them, bruise them, smell them. You know, we live in this surreal thing, like everything has to be so engineered and so identical and everything. It's like, give me a friggin' break. That type of thinking loses your freedom, loses your joy, loses your happiness, and locks you into boxes. And that's just what this world is creating. Any future movie you ever saw, did you notice they're all starting to come true? And yet man can't have the awareness to stop that. Our civil servants don't have the awareness to stop that. You know, our governments should be spiritual governments that oversee the needs of the humans instead of ripping them off. Probably why Donald Trump is leading the polls. People are fed up with politicians because they don't care about the people. This is all about, I need a job for life. And all these opinions. Dear Mr. Morse, I am writing you because I have some health problems and I keep trying to take it away by eating well. I am 80% raw vegan. But I am still feeling the pain and cannot get rid of it. Maybe I do something wrong. I read your good, must be book, right, about detoxification. It's a great book. Oh, thanks. My problem is ankylosing spondylitis. I've never heard of this one. morbus something, since 2002. There's a lot of that spondylitis stuff. Between 2002 and 2004, I was taking medicine, corticosteroids, because I also had problems with knee and ankle. So what she's saying is she has acidosis and inflammation in her body, and she treated it with steroids, like the ones your adrenal glands produce. Well, wait a minute, her medical doctor put her on cortisol, but wait a minute, her adrenal glands are supposed to produce that. So how come her own adrenal glands did, or him, I can't tell, didn't help? This is Czech Republic, didn't help him. And that's because the adrenals are down, the kidneys are down. Of course, and you guys know that this is the lymph system. Whenever you see this kind of pain, and this, of course, any type of itis is inflammation. It's just location, location, location. Whether it's in the ankles, the knees, I don't care where it's at. In the muscles, you have different names for anything. Fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme. They blame it on microbes, but how many of you with the lupus and the Lymes have been taking antibiotics and all these antivirals and all these things for years and didn't help you? That's because it's not the problem, not the cause. Acids are the cause. And if you don't do anything about it, acids keep getting worse because your cells keep producing acid waste every day you live. And the more activity you're involved in, the more acids between lactic and boracic and phosphoric and carbonic and all these other acids. How does your body get rid of them? That's the question you must ask. Because all life breaks down to acids. All the Krebs cycles, all the cycles lead to acids. So how does the body get rid of the acids? Because if you don't get rid of the acids, that's what you're all feeling. You're feeling the blowback on acidosis, and it's inflammation, no matter where the location. So how do you get to that? That system uses the kidneys and the skin as their eliminative organs. You can tell when your kidneys are down because you oversweat. If your thyroid is down and you can't sweat at all, you're locked. And you'll get sleepy eyes, mucus out of the throat, some mucus out of the ears, female vaginally, belly button goo. This is just your body trying to eliminate nasty proteins out of itself, acids out of itself. And when the kidneys are shut down by all the acid-forming foods that man's eating, you no longer filter. And if you no longer filter, that's like having a sewer system at your house, your home sewer system, and the septic tank's backing up. So everything starts backing up in the house. Your lymph nodes swell, which is your septic tanks, and everything starts backing up and swelling and becoming inflamed, what we call inflammation. This is the first ring that you've got trouble. Pain is the first sign that you've got acids backing up and it's a little warning sign. Do something about me. So the whole gig here is to get your kidneys and skin opened up and your eliminatives opened up and start expectorating. Start eliminating all the mucus and acids out of your body. Well, only fruits, berries, and melons will pull that out except for the higher level of water fasting. Vegetables will do it up to a certain point and then you'll just plateau out. But for most of you just starting, vegetables, green drinks can help you up to a point. And for those that are very sensitive to fruits, green drinks are a better option. At a certain point, though, you'll be able to step up on that higher step of the fruits and the berries and the melons and get on down the road. So real important here to realize that any type you're diagnosed with an itis, it's inflammation, just depends where. And then they have a different word hooked to depending where. But you can tell immediately that your kidneys are down. Be at the knees, the ankles, the hips will be next, the elbows. Any joints you're overworking, that's going to go because there all is acidosis that you're not removing. You can work a joint all you want as long as you're removing the acid you're creating. When you're not moving the acid you're creating, now you're starting to build up acidosis, and the sad thing is how your body's got to stop that. Your body's got to try and stop acidosis in some way because the cell will lose. It'll deteriorate the cell, and you see that word is called cancer. So how does it do that? Well, we've talked many times, but we're kind of addressing some of the new people on here, but edema, water, cholesterol, and calcium. Those are the three main antacid focuses of your body. Keep in mind it's on your test. And it's there to help stop the burn back and blowback to the cell. That's what the lymph system is all about anyway. Remember, it's a lipid-based system, so it's based to try and stop the acid, to neutralize acids. I was reading something about electrolytes. It was real cute, and I can't remember what it was. How electrons are burned so much here. Let me see here. Then in '08, I had pain again and was taking, it looks like an antibiotic here. I can't pronounce the word. It lasted until 2012. In July 2012, I changed my life and food. I became raw vegan slowly. My acidity was good. Urine about 7 pH. Dang. Now let me say this. Yeah, I've been detoxifying mucus out of my body, boy. I mean, I still have it in there from when I was a kid. You can keep digging and keep digging. Anyway, when your urine is 7, that's too alkaline. You're not filtering enough yet. You want your urine to be closer to 6 than you do 7, because that means you're not filtering your acids. Now, if you've been on a lot of antibiotics, you're in trouble. You got to hope that your lymph nodes reseeded themselves, because lymph node bacteria is vital to the breaking down of cellular acids. So by the time they leave the cell, they go through the lymph nodes. Remember, cellular acids are about 3 pH. When they leave the cell, when they come to the lymph nodes and they get through the bacterial stages, they should be around 6. 5 something to 6. That'd be perfect. As I said, if they were 3 and you didn't have bacterial action in the lymph nodes, you'd be peeing on your knees. Because when you have, say, interstitial cystitis or UTIs, you're feeling around 3 to 4 pH. And that's not a pleasant burn. You know, it's just like Coca-Cola. They're all, Coke, Pepsi, they're all 3 pHs somewhere in that area. So what this is saying is your kidneys are not filtering yet good like you want it to be. You need to see a more acidic urine. Now you want an alkaline mouth. See, and another thing, if your urine is too acidic, it'll blow back even on the kidneys themselves. Because your kidneys can only take, just like your stomach, these are acid chambers, and they can take a little acid hit, but too much of an acid hit, gone. You know, your stomach has to be able to buffer a 2 pH, hydrochloric acid. Your stomach has to be able to buffer that, but that's why they bicarbonate. But we're not a species that's supposed to be consuming acid-forming foods. We don't have, our hydrochloric acid isn't at the level of an omnivore. And omnivores can digest bone pretty easy. We can't real easy. Then I was okay for 2 years, so I was happy, and I was 100% convinced that it was because of good food. I had no pain. I could run, skate, ski, do anything else I used to do. But in January 2015, the pain showed up again. Well, here's the thing, honey. You just didn't detox into your body deep enough. And it shows you the benefit of the raw foods, no question. But you really probably did not fix your filtration yet at the level you needed to do that. So I can only say you were enjoying the rehydration of the raw foods, but I don't know about the filtration. See, that's what you want to look at. Remember these filtering urines by Germain here. Saint Germain. Okay. I have pain in S1 joint, back, and as well in my right ankle. It is swollen and hurts. Yeah. Yeah, you're into kidney failure, and this is what you've got to fix, is your kidneys. And that'll pull this lymph up out of these tissues and get them out of your body. It's either that or out the skin, because there's really no other way to go. And if you hold them, then you're going to see swelling and redness and edema and all the other stuff. You're going to lose calcium out of the joint, because calcium, the body's going to rip your calcium to try to stop this. So it just gets worse and worse and worse until you fix it. You can't treat something like this. You can't throw a steroid in. You can't just cover up that acid and go, okay, all right, it's cool. That's what steroids do. Oh, it's good. All right, we've got it. The blowback is not fun, is it? A lot of you guys already know the blowback. And it's not fun. A lot of you with acne, I've heard your stories over and over again, know the blowback. I see it here all the time. All the time. It's well known. What you suppress today is your nightmare tomorrow. Remember that. You don't want to suppress anything. She needs this, I guess this is it must be an anti-inflammatory of some sort. Diclophenac or something. I also had staph. Well, everybody has staph and strep in them, honey. I can just tell you. It's just the natural bacteria of life. In May 15, I got penicillin. See, that was the worst thing you do, because right there you got a sulfur drug. The doctor told me I should take corticosteroids and this other thing, again, I don't really want. I would like to get well in natural ways. You see what you're doing, and this is a typical thing, is everybody keeps treating their problems. Well, this is a typical case to show you that when you treat with pharmaceuticals, you don't get well, you suppress, and it's going to come back and come back. Here's the problem. The cause has never been addressed, so the cause is getting worse. Your dietary habits were not, well, you did change yours, so I have to commend you, but an average person does not. So they keep developing acidosis. Now, you can be a raw foodist, not get your kidneys filtering, and get worse and worse and worse because you haven't got your kidneys filtering. This isn't just about the foods. This is also fixing the filtration, the elimination of the body that has become stagnant and has become obstructive in nature. And dehydrated. So everybody's super dehydrated from all this acidosis, interstitially, etc., etc. But you have to see the nature of medical thinking is right here. They're doing their job, what they were trained to do. Sad that you spend so many years in school and we have to use pharmaceuticals to treat that. Years ago, it was exciting for someone to enter medical school and to get to this level. What should be exciting is to get into this level, and because this is true healing, this is true science. And the medical profession now is going down. If you're a medical doctor, become a surgeon, an ER doc, or come over to my side. Because I think as you see the world balancing out, that's what you're going to see. Because there's nothing you can't cure doing this level of thinking. But we need emergency rooms, we need good surgeons that can sew hands back on kids. That's pretty cool. There's that one doc that he's so good, I can't remember his name. He sewed on faces. He took this tumor off of this guy's face. I can't even describe the tumor on this guy's face, multiple tumors. And this guy cleaned this guy up pretty good. I can't remember this guy's name, but he's getting a good name for himself by going over and doing this. And he's not charging him. What a good doc. I respect people like that. Maybe you can help me. I would be really happy. I have 3 little kids, and I want to enjoy life with them. With pain, it is not possible. No kidding. You've got to get in and get on a raw food diet. I get on fruits, berries, and melons. You probably can move right up to 100% raw at least, but try to get to 100% fruits, berries, and melons. Get on some herbs for your kidneys, your adrenal glands, your bowels. We have, for the new people, we have herbal programs for you. We have 3 programs here in the club, 3 levels of programs for you. Basic, if you have very little funds, but how to get things going, and the diets for these things. We have a medium level. And then for those that are serious, we've got pedal to the metal, get your butt down the road going. That's the one I like, because you're through this, you get done, and you got your life back. You know, and I love that sort of thing. There are some of you that are very advanced in the chronic and degenerative levels. Most babies are in the chronic levels. And we are seeing some born with cancer cells, meaning that some of these tissues are already moving in the degenerative levels at birth. You see what I'm talking about? We've got to learn how to regenerate tissue, and that's what we do here. You have to learn how creation is put together, and how there's genetics, why they're genetic, and how all this works from consciousness down. Because we're trying to look up to God, turn it around and look down from God. Turn it around for yourself. You'll see more. When you're trying to look up from a very finite point, you don't see too much. Reverse yourself because you're from the infinite. So become the infinite. That's in the now. That's being here in the now, living in the moment without the mind. And that's pure conscious, pure awareness. You're not dead. You're alive more than you ever thought you could be. Because you don't have any bodies to limit your consciousness and your energy. So it's intense. And the closer you get to that level, it becomes intense. That's the level that I enjoy, to be honest with you. So get on down that road, get on your raw, get some herbs in there, and get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals up. Remember, your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys. They come as twins. Got to work on both of them. Work on the lymph system. Clean up the GI tract. And then you'll pull all these acids out of your joints, rebuild any tissue that's damaged. The calcium can be put back into the joint, make your joints solid again, things like that. That's where it's at. And that's where man has to be at in these times. We can't go longer just say, oh, we'll just play nice guy, we'll just pat each other on the back, oh, it's okay, I'll work with you. I don't play those games anymore. I can't. I'm being forced to do this. It's not me. I'd rather just go off to the woods. But that won't work for me right now. So I'm being forced to do this, and I have to do this, and we have to do this. So one way or another. But it's so beautiful and so much fun, and you get your life back and the energy back. And for you athletes, holy crap. Let's set some new records. Let's show them some infinite energy. That's right. I anticipate some great new records from our people. All right, this is from Mike. I was diagnosed with MS. Mike. I took 5 weeks of your cleanse in the past. After my last flare-up, I am ready to take the holistic approach with full participation on my part. Excellent. And you want to with MS, especially if you have brain lesions. Location, 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 guys. Get up here and get this out of here. And you're only getting the burn, the lesions from the acids. And that's the lymph system that's creating the lesions. However, if you look at the eyes in genetics, remember those radius solaris? Yep, those little radii solaris. If your eyes has got them, there's your precursor to brain lesions right there. These are just deeper genetic weaknesses that doesn't take much to throw over the top. The acid side of chemistry is what burns and takes things over the top. Base chemistry is cooling, acid chemistry is heat producing, just to show you the difference. So when you're inflammation, you don't put more heat on it, you put a cold pack. That sort of thing. My question is, I am ready to set up a phone appointment with Dr. Morse. Is there any blood work, iris exams, or any other? Ooh, thanks in advance. Yeah. You know what? I love blood work. I'm one of those chemistry freaks. I'm a biochemist, so I love blood work. So anything like that, we'll take blood work, eye pictures, definitely eye pictures, because that'll really help us to see your nervous system and your lymphatic system, because that's the biggest deal you all face is your lymphatic system. How bad is it up here in the sinuses and head area? How bad is it back in the cerebellum? Do you have genetics in that area? How weak are your adrenals? Are you in the chronic levels or degenerative levels of adrenal weakness? These are all MS issues. Kidneys, where are you on your kidneys? The myelins, where are you on the myelin sheaths? And that's expressed in the eyes. So these things are good and helpful. Doesn't change the picture and what you have to do, but it allows me to talk a little more with you and show you what your kidney function is, and if you have any inflammation in the liver and all these other places. It's a good look how your blood is doing, but it's also a teeny look into the lymph system. Blood is blood, lymph is lymph, two different systems, two different fluids. They're separate systems entirely. They do come together in the spleen and kidneys and interstitially, right at the cell. So yeah, come on in, Mike. 100% fruits, berries, and melons. You want to jump out of this. I don't know if you're in a chair or not, but 100% raw, 100% fruits, berries, and melons, and then we go after you. We get into the kidneys, the adrenals, we get up in here, we go after the brain lesions, we go after all of that. But we do that on all neurological cases, and we try to do that on every case. You want to get up here and clean this baby, just because of, what's going on out there. When you're balding and you're 20 and 30-year-old, you're in trouble. You got to ask yourself, man has been complacent about balding in its relationship to Alzheimer's and dementia. That's your first stepping stone. Because what's taking off your hair? Oh, it's genetics. My dad lost his hair. That's not what's genetics. Your hair follicles might be genetically weak, absolutely. The cells of the scalp and things, but it's all the things that lead to that that's the problem. The weakness in the kidneys, the adrenals, the lymphatic systems, that's the problem. Weaknesses can be regenerated. Ingunn Helen. Hi, sweetheart. Attention, Shannon. I have a question for the office to please consider making an audiobook of the Detox Miracle Source Book. I've been struggling with poor concentration and memory for many years. Yeah, that is a good idea, and we've talked about that too, guys. Our publisher said we do have audiobook. I had no idea we have an audiobook. So you might talk to Shannon again about that. I'll put this to Chris to give to Shannon. And maybe she can call you or get a hold of you there. But I understand we do have an audio book. I like to do all kinds of things. Just closed captions, I'd love that, because we do have a lot of deaf clients. But it's just getting all this done, and who, and financial, and all kinds of things. But we're working on it all, I know. So I don't know where we get the audio book. We don't sell anything like that. I don't know what the publisher is saying. So we just have to find out, I guess. But you're struggling with poor concentration and memory, fix that. Get yourself on your raw fruits, berries, and melons. That's why I like videos, to tell you the truth. I like videos rather than writing books. I'm like a Paul Twitchell. I've got at least 4 books started in my house, at least 4. And I keep working on a little of them here and there. And I could just sit and get them all done, but these videos, you can talk more. You can talk directly to you. To me, it's better than reading. I read myself to death through the years. So you want to fix this poor concentration and memory. So for me, it's upper circuit, brain, and nerve, and then start moving on that lymph system. And that lymph system includes the skin and the kidneys, right? So indirectly, we could say the lymph system is also indirectly affected by the what? Thyroid gland and your ability to have body temperature enough to sweat. And reading books have been really hard at times. Listening to audiobooks helps me concentrate, especially when I have the physical book in my hand and can follow the reader's words. Oh, that's interesting. Not using energy reading it myself. Well, that's an interesting thought, too. Really. That's why another thing I think is a good idea. Don't spend too much energy with the mind again. Probably a good idea for you. And just think how many who would benefit from it. Thanks, Helen. I'll put that to her. But we were talking about that. I don't know if time or whatever, but I do know that the publisher said we do have audiobooks available. I don't know. Let me see here. Not a member, puts him back to D. I don't know what this is, Gen B or Gen W. This is Veronika, I think it is. Hi, I am looking for some help. In 2014, my father was diagnosed with cancer of the left adrenal. Wow. Ooh, damn. Well, in the eyes, I do see a lot of lymph around a lot of adrenal glands, and I know there's a lot of tumors and cysts on adrenal glands out there, and the sad thing is, we need that adrenal gland for the kidney that it's sitting on. Oh, you get into some of these catch-22s, and they really try our ability to clean someone up and to rebuild them. So some cases really try us, and that's when you have the organs we need in really bad shape. So there's no magic in life. This is chemistry and physics in action. It's just how you're bringing the chemistry in the body, how the chemistry in the body is responding, and how that has a blowback in your fluids to the cells. Now, left adrenal metastasis to the liver, kidneys, and lungs. All right, so you knew it was going to be the kidneys because That's kissing cousin. Liver and lungs, common stuff. But you remember that when you're down lymphatically, you're down on that whole side. This tells me, it says left adrenal, which is interesting because the liver's on the right side. But it just shows that the lymph system's down all through this person. He refused surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. He chose an alternative treatment. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to turn down chemo and radiation, then we in the natural health field need to become one at this level, because we have the best record of all natural health clinics in the world at these levels. And it's not ego, it's just fact. It's because we factually know what causes these things, we factually know how you create these things, and you can unwind these things. The body is what it is. It's not a complicated instrument. It can be, but you don't want to go there, because that's the grand illusion that'll keep people chasing their tails. These souls that are involved in research and medical thinking will be lost for eons unless they wake up, because you're not even close to finding anything out. So it's just, it can keep you lost as an individual for lifetimes. And so I'm for every soul. I don't care if you're a medical doctor. I don't care if you're a naturopath. I don't care who and what you are. You're an individual. You come out of the Godhead. That's what you got to tap. Now, if you treat this as cancer and you treat it, the chances of your dad being successful is going to be low too. And I might want to add, if you're doing the Budwig program, you can just forget it. I don't know whoever invented this crap. You never, ever, any of you that are diagnosed with any of the cancers, or you have tumors or swellings, you never, and lungers, COPDers, you never, ever want to do anything that smacks of colostrum, cottage cheese, yogurts. I don't care what chemistry you mix with them. You do not want to consume dairy animal products at all. This is the time you get rid of animal products. You don't want more mucus-forming foods. You can take colostrum or yogurt and watch your tumors grow while you're eating it. Guaranteed. You do not do these sort of things if you're going to treat this as cancer. If you want to understand why that he has a tumor or a breakdown in the liver, the lungs, you have to go no further than the lymph system, because these are lymphomas, meaning they're of the lymph system. Meaning this is all acidosis or built-up lymph that the body is tumored, isolated. Okay, leave it alone. You're fine. The body isolated the tumor. If the tumor is growing and stopping or blocking vital tissues, oh, that's a different story, isn't it? So you know that your lifestyle and your dietary habits is causing these problems. So then you have to find a lifestyle that reverses them. Make sense? What lifestyle would that be? First of all, you wake up to the fact that you don't destroy your foods before you eat them. We're the only species that destroys our food before we eat them. I can't believe how low the Homo sapien, we've lived below other animals. Other animals don't do other animals don't kill each other like we do. I mean, we are the premier slaughterers of each other. So it's amazing. And we don't even eat each other. If we're going to kill them, eat them. I mean, that's how ridiculous that we're at, and the humans. We need to catch up. Some of these other places are, you guys practice out-of-body experiences, then let's talk. Could you recommend me from your club something? Do you have clinic in Europe? Could I write to you all he is using and what would be the best for him? I think I would. I think I would call up the clinic here, honey, and get a hold of one of the counselors or one of the girls and explain all this, and she'll tell you how to get everything together, what we need and everything like that. They'll set you up and at least get some help on this. Because when you're dealing with someone with this level of acidosis and you've got tumors and hot spots all over the place, it just means his lymph system's been down a long time. You want to fix this right, because his life depends on it and how long he lives. If he does nothing, the studies all show he'll live a lot longer than he treated it, so he's smart in that way. But don't treat it naturally either. You're not treating cancer. You're fixing his lymphatic system. And that's the system that these problems are in. because it all is based upon fluids and acidosis. So that's why tumors, pockets of fluids. And they'll help you take care of that. Dad ears. Another one to Jen W. This is Michelle. Hello there. I am wondering what supplement I can take for sulfur burps. Oh, honey. Oh, God. I hate that. Sulfur burps. Oh, my God. Yeah, you know, isn't it amazing how much sulfur we have in us from friggin' pharmaceuticals? I mean, look, you got to look at the other side of this, you know. You have to wake up to what's been going on, and we have to change things. That's all I'm saying. But people generally don't like to change when they're making buku bucks, no matter what. And people don't even like to change that are poor. So, let alone making major bucks around what they're doing. So it's just enough to say change is difficult because why? The mind. The mind is set and grew. It's a totally conditioned instrument. So if you're using your mind for everything, you're stuck in these patterns that you've conditioned yourself or have been conditioned by parents, family, churches, society, governments. Patriotic will kill to fight over our patriotism, that sort of thing. But you're going to have to get in. I want to get your kidneys, get your adrenal glands going. You're going to have to take some GI broom. Like it or not, I take it twice a day. Stomach and bowel or heal all caps and start cleaning up my GI tract. You got to get this sulfur out of you. The only way you're going to get it out of you is to get alkaline. You know, turn your body into a detoxify. It's the only way. I don't know any antidote. Got a medical friend, he doesn't know any antidote either. So there's no antidote for sulfur yet, but it's enough to say that detox will pull it out. Watched it for years, but it's not as aggressive coming out as you would like. Takes some time to get it out. And I might add, sweetheart, you probably have a high fungal problem in your body as well. Call it candida, I don't care. But when you have sulfur like this, you're going to have a ton of candida problems. So you might want to take a lot of Parasite M, go after that, get this sulfur out of your guts. Because you can't, there's nothing you can coat it with to stop it. You got to pull it out of the wall, and if you look in your eyes, you'll see all the orange. Pull it out of the wall and discharge it out the stool. If it's all through you, then you'll pee some of it out. But there's the only way to clean it out is clean it out. And so astringent foods, grapes, subacid and acid fruits, GI brooms, things like that. That'll clean and pull and astringe these mucosas and stuff to get this out of there, and then you'll be done with that. But I feel for you. These are not fun. And let me go on here. I was diagnosed with gastroparesis years back. Holy crap. That's paralysis of the stomach. That's even worse still. And again, we always assume on-the-wall problems. When we think of paralysis, we think of the GI tract, we think of something on the wall of the stomach that's suppressing and hurting. I want you guys to think inside the walls of things. Not on the outside of walls, on the inside of walls. If I do a colonoscopy and I go up your colon and I see a polyp hanging, that came from inside the wall. And you can cut it off, but you'll pop another one or two. This is the lymphatic system. And you pop these little polyps and thyroids and everywhere else as well. And when you see polyps, it means your lymph system. That's why they say it's a precursor to cancer, because what system is cancer in? What system does the medical doctors referring to when they refer to cancers? The lymph system. And this is a big deal. I was told I would continue to get small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Well, the only way you get bacterial overgrowth in the gut is if you supply food. This is all about your terrain in your body. And if your terrain is one that you need bacteria to help you clean up, then that's what you're getting. It's when you blame the bacteria for the problem, you start stepping outside of creation and making things make-believe. You start losing why the Creator created everything. So you lose your picture of the simplicity of things, and now you're into intellectualism and academics, which takes you into nowhere land. It's like the Beatles said, nowhere land. When I do, I get bile-smelling burps, diarrhea, and feel ill. So far, no one has been able to help me gain my health back. And I'm 41. Yo, female, and I am whoa, I'm 5'1" and weigh 120. All right, so 5'1", honey. You want to be looking at your pituitary, and if your monthly cycles, your menses is irregular, your pituitary is the problem. If you're bleeding too hard, pituitary, you want to work a little bit on your endocrine glands, because if your pituitary is down, it can take your thyroid and parathyroid down, and your kidney and adrenals down. So you want to work on this. This would also suggest that you have transverse colon weaknesses to caboot. Everyone around me thinks I am becoming anorexic. Please tell me what protocol I should take from Dr. Morse. Thank you in advance. Get on your raw foods, just like we say them here. That's the only, foods are always the same. Get off of the foods that are sticky, gluey, and locking that stuff in place, and start getting raw foods that will cleanse. Number one, always. The fruits and berries and melons are the top cleansers. Vegetables are the lowest. But they still clean a little bit. Definitely want to get on a program. Get your kidneys, adrenals up. We have these kits all lined up for you guys if you want them that way. If you want to make your own up, you can. But you want to hit the kidneys, you want to hit the lymph system, the GI tract, hit your endocrine glands. Real important to do some of these things like that, sweetheart. But this is gastroparesis. Comes from inside the wall. This means a strong probability of malabsorption. A strong probability of malabsorption. And you want to fix that. Because that means you're not absorbing a lot of the nutrition you're eating. And you don't want to get into full-fledged gastroparesis, because that means that anything you swallow, you throw right back up. That, I've had some cases that tested my patients, to where everything that went down came right back up. Thank God, herbs they just have a magic to them that they can get behind things and work things out. I don't know what to say about it. Better than foods. It's amazing. So I've been able to use herbs and botanicals to wiggle people out of this. And foods, to some degree. Everyone around me thinks I'm anorexic. Oh no, this is, you'll be able to fix yourself up, sweetheart, but you really got to get in there and look at our protocols in terms of herbs. The foods are always going to be the same with us. We're always going to recommend the same diet, and I have for 40-some years now. I've never, ever changed my dietary recommendations, ever. When I realized that vegetables weren't the issue, which was many moons ago, fasting on carrots and everything else for years, I woke up to fruits. But I always did feel fruits were superior. That's why I lived for months and months and months on oranges. And I've done multiple fasts on fruits and stuff. I didn't realize a tremendous difference. Do now. So it's just some of the things you get into and having fun and growing and learning. So when you get older, you can give some of this information out and it'll be helpful to people, hopefully. And you guys can get your remedy way, way, way ahead of serious problems happening. Some of you are already in serious trouble. Let me see. Generally healthy. This is Mary. Hi, Mary. Trying to spend money wisely. My eyes have, well, that's always a good idea. My eyes have lacunas throughout and very dark skin ring. Excuse me. Hard for me to sweat and developing small warning patches of psoriasis. Yeah, you're right on here, honey. I said, so if you're spending your money wisely, what do you want to do? You want to go after your lymphatic system, because you know that's the big deal here that you're in. When you start to see the skin going, that's your third kidney. So you know your other two kidneys are, of course, probably not filtering at the capacity they should. So you also are alluding to just what's up. Thyroid's a little low. So you want to kick that up. You can kick that up with our thyroid herbal formula. You can kick it up with a glandular, a low-dose glandular a little bit. Make sure it's not your pituitary sitting down on it. That would be low TSHs. And if you get your eyes, you'll see a lacuna right in, or a radius solaris right in the pituitary area. On a woman, they can tell by height and menses and some other things too. The dark skin ring means that there's probably genetics in the thyroid gland not giving the body temperature enough to sweat. So you really want to refurbish your skin. I do dry skin brushing and get up there to sweat, get outside, get in humidity, get into saunas. I'm not, again, pushing radiation saunas. I'm pushing water saunas. So prefer steam or water, or dry sauna. And work on your thyroid gland. At the same time, your skin, you're starting to see your lymph system backing up, slowly, slowly, slowly. Just like you said, good choice of words, warning. A warning patch of psoriasis, absolutely. And that's just what it is. Hey, look, I'm backing up in here, I need help. And you're listening, Mary, it's a good idea. I just swell and turn bright red. That's why you have to open your doors, because everything is being held in. So you swell, which is common with acidosis, and you turn red. That's all acidosis. So all you have to do, get those kidney and adrenals going, get those kidneys filtering, get that thyroid picked up, start working on opening that skin. Now, you might get a little more redness on the skin when you open up because it sounds like your body's ready to explode. I need out. I've been locked in here. I need out. And that's why you see sometimes a healing crisis on the skin where the skin gets real bad at first. I'm trying to do my best to get the kidneys and all this opened up before that happens to most of you, but sometimes just have to go through it. But, you know, we created these deeper levels unconsciously, and now you're becoming more conscious and aware of how man's creating his problems and how he has to just simply unwind them. There's nothing voodoo, there's nothing, it's just pure facts and science and how you take off down that road of chemistry and physics and how you clean and rebuild the human body. Simple, not difficult. People can argue diets all they want. We're into detoxification and tissue regeneration. When you get that accomplished, then you can balance out how you so choose. I can't go too much longer because this is Sunday evening and I've got to get ready. Grace. Hello, Grace. I love that name, Grace. Oh, look. Honey Sweet Berry 7. Oh, I love that. I was put on Accutane twice by my dermatologist. Boy, I bet you a lot of dermatologists that have any sense of awareness at all, we should never heard of that word. Due to my acne, a month or so after starting my first round of Accutane, I noticed that I had developed hyperhidrosis. I used to sweat normally, but after the Accutane, I am now extremely sensitive to heat and begin to sweat at any minimal physical activity. Body's trying to get rid of that, isn't it? It is about 20 degrees Celsius outdoors. I will sweat. If I even go for a walk around the block, I start to sweat. It is from my face and head. Please explain and help. Thank you. God bless. Well, again, just showing you how down your kidneys are in the first place. You know, to have the skin problems in the first place, your lymph system is not filtering through your kidneys. So, and this, you see it particularly in the young now because they're born with kidney and adrenal weaknesses in the chronic levels. You know, we're getting far away from the simple acute and subacute. Now, pharmaceuticals took care of those. They suppressed all those stages, and now we're fighting chronic and degenerative stages. Can't treat those the same. That's what they don't get. They don't get that you can't treat chronic and degenerative changes like you can acute and subacute. Can't do that anymore. People are on death. That'll just start killing people, and it's just what it's doing. They got to understand a little more of what they're doing before they get like this. And that's that they're just not thinking a lot of things out properly. That's because pharmaceutical companies are just pushing the meds to them and they just push the meds out. It's not about health and healing, guys. It has nothing to do with that. It's to sell the pharmaceuticals. If it was, they'd have a totally different consciousness to them. So you got to get the kidneys and the adrenals up and start getting the kidneys to filter. That'll start pulling any of the residues and any of the tripped up thyroids or anything. It'll start pulling all this out of you. And you'll come down and balance with sweat. We see people with that all the time, sweat too much and stuff like that. Balance right out with that. But detox that body out. Check your basal temperatures out of pure curiosity. See what your thyroid is doing. get your adrenals and your kidneys up and filtering, clean up that GI broom, get your lymph system. That'll clean all this out and bring balance to the body. And that's what you need, is balance. Something we can't do to the body, it has to do it to itself. We can only give the goodies to do it and the herbs to help it to heal itself and to clean itself, and it'll do the rest. Pretty cool stuff. This is from Gary Garrett. It says, this video is supposed to be about rash and baking soda. Why does he have to read and respond to every goddamn letter written to him? Well, Gary, man, this is what I do. I respond to these letters because that, it's trying to help each and every person, Gary. But, rash and baking soda. Well, we covered that. It's pretty easy. I mean, I can say that in about, how many seconds? Baking soda, how many videos can I do about taking a little aluminum-free baking soda, and to help alkalizing the body? Again, my concern is overdoing bicarbonate because your pancreas produces it. And being an endocrine gland, when you produce something from an endocrine gland, you got to be real careful about taking too much of that, because when you do, the gland just sets back and doesn't want to produce any more. If it's underproducing in the first place, it could lead to even more serious hypofunctions. So I'm a little cautious, but when you get up into some of these diagnosed cancer cases and stuff like that, on our side, it's extreme dehydration and acidosis. So this is why we try to alkalize as much as possible. I don't know which video we're talking about, Gary, and the rash, I don't know what we're talking about, but I know I'm reading each one of these letters, but it's how I can bring up the differences in different people. It's just, after a while when you're watching these videos, it can get a little boring, and you see that everybody's dealing in similar things. And this is because the human body's basically simplistic and the same. So we all have the same conditions. It's nothing mystery. And we all clean up the same too. Not about blood types and body types and fast or slow oxidizers. These are all problems that can be fixed. We are of the same species. So everybody gets treated the same. Ooh, that's got to hurt. Sorry, Gary. Give me some ideas, my friend, what I can do to kick this up a little bit, and I'll do that. But this is not a new pile that Chris has waiting for me. This is what I haven't got to yet, Gary. And there's plenty more back here on the floor. And Chris is building a pile up for me because I can only get, my hope is that each case represents many other cases that are like-minded. As you see, the acne cases are miles. The girls want to know if they want me to go through these and pick out the different, like acnes and different things, and lump them all together. Now, we could do that. That would take the individuality out of this YouTube site and just kind of lump you all in different types of categories. But I like the individuality about it, and I like talking to each one of you individually. It kind of gives me a chance to get to know you, and then maybe time goes on, because we're all together in this and working. Like, here's another eczema case right here. I've had eczema since I was a baby. Now, Gary, this person this is Christina, and this person here has been suffering since she was a baby. And she might not be listening to all the other acne and eczema cases I've been talking about. She just came on, and maybe she just wants to get that done. So that's kind of where we are. And so let me know, Gary, where we can kick this up a little bit for me. But here's another lady. She's 25, and she's had skin problems since she was a baby. So how bad is what's inside of her going on? I mean, this is going to be real bad inside of her. So we just need, sweetheart, Christina, you need to detoxify yourself. The only way you get rid of any skin problems is through detoxification. That's the golden key. That's how nature uses. You put stuff in, now you have to get stuff out. But you put stuff in that broke down and suppressed the tissues of the body. Now the tissues of the body is not allowing the chemical residues in the body that need to be pulled out, can't get out anymore. Just remember, it's a sewer department, and your sewer system is backed up, and your sewer system includes the skin and your two other kidneys as their eliminative organs. Your skin is just a huge eliminative organ that's stuck. So you want to look at your thyroid, sweetheart. You want to look at your 2 kidneys. Pee in a jar, see if it's clear or you got sediment in it. You want to get yourself filtering and get yourself on a high raw fruit, berry, and melon diet, at least till you get yourself cleaned up. But you know immediately you have kidney and adrenal problems without even asking, because this is the lymph system. I've used topical steroids for years. So that means that when you start detoxifying, it's possible, guys, that she could explode on the skin because she's been using steroids to hide what's underneath. They're not like true steroids that neutralize and eliminate. She's been suppressing for years because she didn't know any better. She just did what the docs told them. Docs, hey, look, I put a little cream, look, it's gone. It's not gone. It didn't go anywhere. He just shoved it deeper into the subcutaneous layers. So now what you got waiting below, what you see on the epidermis is one thing. What's down below in the dermis and subcutaneous? I finally stopped using these this past February and have been eating a vegan, mostly fruit diet with cooked starches and grains. That tells you got fungus in you. Get rid of this cooked starches and grains, sonny. But eczema has spread to nearly my entire body. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You want to do fruits, berries, and melons only. That's it. And really kick this up. I've been going on a great fast of 10, 20 days, back and forth. You like the 15-year-old. John, he's kicking his acne, dermatitis, who cares what you call it. It's all acids. It's all sewage from the cells. That's what it should be called. You know, you got all these fancy names that medical doctors make up for these things, and they're all the same stuff, guys, no matter how gnarly it gets and how bad. Psoriasis, how bad that can get, or acne, or dermatitis, it doesn't matter what you call it. It all cleans up the same. I've been fully raw for 11 days, and my skin is constantly drying and flaking off. Honey, you're into about 6 months to a little longer work. You're into 6 months or a little longer to get this out of you. And that's if your kidneys aren't chronic and everything, and you can get your kidneys filtering sooner than later. It's going to take you at least 6 months. If you have a form of acne or dermatitis, or whatever you wish to call it, head to toe, it'll take you a few months to get rid of this. And that's if you get your kidneys filtering sooner than later, like I said, and you get your skin breathing a little more. Salt baths will be helpful for the symptom of it, but in reality, this is internal that has to be cleaned. You have to clean your internal body. I get periods of unbearable itchiness. Yeah, you're just full of fungus. That's why you crave starches and grains, and probably why you might crave cheeses as well. And this is all about fungus, so you want to do a fungal kill. You know, so get on the first kit that has antifungals and worms and all that, and you might want to stay on Parasite M for about 3 months. Highly recommend it. And then your cravings won't be there, and you won't need that. You won't crave the starches anymore. But starch craving always goes with fungus. Anything that's fermented, particularly, which either results in bleeding or oozing of fluid. Yeah, that's lymph fluid. You see that oozing of fluid, that white fluid, that's your lymph fluid. That's acidic. Gnarly acidic, like poison ivy acid, that sort of thing. And that's the problem. But bleeding is a little helpful. That's why it's making you itch, because the blood is cooling, it's alkaline. The clear stuff is acidic. Shouldn't be, but is. I can barely sleep. Which herbs do you recommend as bare minimum on a budget to help? Kidneys, adrenals, GI tract, Parasite M, and a lymphatic, bare bones minimum. Bare bones minimum. Better, 2 kidneys, adrenal, 1 lymphatic to start, then moving up to 2, GI tract, GI broom, Parasite M. Do the first kit first. If you can get that first kit done, it's got liver gallbladder, it's got 2 parasitic formulas, one for bigger boys, one for little boys, that sort of thing. Then kick back down on this. If you can do that one, that'll be helpful. And get this done, because you got to understand this is in your brain and everywhere else, Christina. Get this out of here. This problem you have is systemic, and it's a major fluid of the human body. It is the major fluid of the human body. It is your immune system, and you must get it out. This is your sewer system backing up, and nothing good comes from that. This is the system of lymphomas, of what they consider cancers. Tala. Hi, Doc. Thanks for all your help so far. I'd like some self-diagnosis, okay? After a 80-10-10 raw vegan diet, I experienced hair loss and mild tooth decay. After recognizing this and impatient 2 months in my acne clearing, balanced energy, etc., I ceased 811. I'm now vegetarian 20 and have worse health conditions. Thin hair still remains, no longer clear white around the eyes, teeth translucent, several minor cavities, and sore teeth, weight gain, acne, random black body hairs. This must be a female. Period, pain, and bad body odor. I like these, Gary. I mean, this is helpful to everybody. I mean, you sound like a guy that already knows what's up. So you just have to have a little patience, man, because these are all people that need their help. And they need help bad. And it gives me a chance, because she's throwing a bunch of stuff out here we can talk about. And it just allows me to expand into these areas. And it's just, because if I have to sit here and I wait to channel this stuff, you guys have got to tell me on the inner, or I got to be in front of a group where it's feeding the group consciousness, then it's feeding my consciousness, and then I can get it out. All right, so it's enough to say, it's not about 80-10-10 and all this other stuff. I mean, 80-10-10, isn't that 80% fruits, 10% veggies, and 10% protein or something like that? That's not a bad program. Was that Doug's program or something? But it's enough to say that detoxification is essential to get well. Whatever plan you choose to use afterwards, this is a lot more than just diet. You notice I'm a practitioner and I use tools. And there's a reason I use tools. I'm not a practitioner that uses tools for money. I'm a practitioner that uses tools to get people better. That I don't need. I've got all I need. I've got my sucre. I know who I am, where I come from. I'm quite good there. But here in this world, I need tools to help me, to help you to get through these things. And the tools of the botanicals are cool. The 80-10-10 guy needs to pick up some herbs with that. It's enough to say when you're detoxifying, you're going to pull yourself as close to fasting as you can. That's nature's way. Well, if fasting is a water experience, then you're going to get as close to water and as close to the nature of that as you can in energy and astringents and all the things you know that would be essential for detoxification. The ease of digestion, essential. You can't have food that is complex to digest and you're going to detox. That stops detox. You want to stop someone from detoxing, just start eating vegetables or proteins or something. That'll stop it. Cooked food stops. Isn't that funny? These foods stop your healing. So when you eat them all the time, what does that tell you? But it's enough to say, there's some obvious things here. And one of the obvious things here is your lymph system's backed up head to toe, and you want to get it out of your brain. You want to get these sinuses going. Well, when you get locked in your sinuses or locked in your lungs and bronchi and locked in these areas, that means you're extremely acidic, have been for years, and dehydrated in these interstitial spaces. And the sputum is kind of locked in there like a plaque. Call it amyloid, mucoid, I don't care what kind of plaque you call it. And who calls it that, whether medical or naturopath, who cares? It's a buildup of lymph and acids together, and nothing ever good comes of that. Suppresses blood flow, nerve flow, and creates swelling and tumors. Cysts and boils and pimples and all the other good stuff. Nothing ever good comes to this stuff. But if you want to get your remedy, you have to fix your kidney and adrenal glands' ability to filter this. You have to get your kidneys filtering, because the more I look at this, the more Marcy looks at this, the more Jen B looks at this, of Tillis coming along, the more we all look at this, we see the same thing, all of us. And all you guys are seeing the same thing too. So it just is what it is. It's truth at its finest, I think. But you want to get your body cleaned up. And let's go backwards here a little bit. Body odor. That's all from proteins. You don't stink eating fruits and berries and melons and vegetables. Matter of fact, they keep you clean. And you don't use any deodorant or stuff because you don't stink. You only stink from meats and proteins, and this is putrefaction. And you can get it in the lymph nodes. You can get it everywhere. You ever stink under your arms? Get away. Well, when you start detoxifying, you can really start stinking because you're pulling these proteins and these acids out of the body. And so, at some level, you always have putrefaction in the body. And, of course, proteins, that's what they do. So, yeah, you can really stink. If you can smell yourself, you're getting bad. Because if you can smell yourself, guess who else can? Right? So you want to clean yourself. When you have body odor, what word comes to mind? I want to clean myself. Well, the word for cleaning is detoxification. That's all it is. Period pain. And I want to link this, too, because I'm seeing some things here that you are talking about here. You're talking about a parathyroid problem here in so many ways. Look at this. You're talking about translucent teeth, cavities, thinning of hair. That's from acidosis. You know, hair loss is from acid in the lymph backing up in the scalp and all that. You're not draining your lymph down your head and everything. Sinuses are backing up. But it's showing that you're acidic in the mouth, in your gums, and you're losing calcium to that. Your teeth is getting translucent. Sore teeth. That would tell me losing calcium and not putting it back. Parathyroid. I would be looking at my parathyroid also for the period pain, but I'm also want to think about your pituitary. If your menses, I would do the endocrine gland formula, take a look at my eyes, see if I have pituitary. You might have to pit your pituitary gland, but you definitely want to hit the parathyroid. And while I'm thinking about that, all of you taking the parathyroid, that's only 10 or 20 milligrams. I have ordered 100. I'm either ordering 50 or 100 milligrams. They're expensive when you get up too high there. So we just ordered 50, and these are the New Zealand ones. We'll call them New Zealand. 2 week. If you're taking that one at 10 or 20, I'd double the dosage. I would double my dosage because not strong enough. I've been watching this, and it's just these parathyroids. It's hard to get parathyroid tissue, so it's just they're not strong enough. So people are getting some help from them, but it could be better. But parathyroid, definitely want to work on that. Acne, your lymph system, part of the lymph system broken down. Black body hairs, you probably have a little more testosterone maybe, out of balance in the steroids, that sort of thing. Or you could be very acidic. Acids can change the color of hair. Weight gain, of course, your adrenals are down. You're sucking on probably starches or something because, you know, that sort of thing. Your clear white eyes, you're getting more red, meaning you have more inflammation or acidosis in the body, so the sclera gets red. That sort of thing. You want to stop all this. You're a young female. You want to stop this. And the way you stop this is you start to clean up your lymphatic system. You get all your lymph system moving and filtering through your skin and kidneys. All the inflammation backs away. All the hair follicles, you might lose some of the more damaged ones, but then you get nice new hair growing back. You put the calcium back in the teeth. And if you're getting painful teeth, I tell you, that tells me right to the parathyroid gland. So you want to work on that a little bit. Work on your kidneys and adrenals, your lymphatic system, clean up the bowels so your head can drain. And you'll be good. But you got to move up to fruits, berries, and melons to start detoxifying with. And also get on some herbs to get into these kidneys, adrenals, the lymphatic system, clean up the gut, and get on that parathyroid. Because you don't want to have painful menses, you don't want to have irregular menses or excessive menses. And you want to get rid of that body odor. Nothing ever good comes because that tells you that you are very acidic and it's proteins and not good ones. So for you new people, that's about what we're about. And we're about getting into the body and resurrecting it, rebuilding it, regenerating the memories of the cells and the cell itself, and cleaning the fluids. Have to clean the fluids to get to the cells. Blood is generally perfect in most people, easy to clean, easy to get your blood perfect. Blood problems are very rare and easy to deal with. The lymph system is a beast of another color. It doesn't move so fast. and it'll dehydrate you like crazy. And this is the worst kind of dehydration you could ever want. Can't drink water and hydrate. This is interstitial dehydration. Interstitial means around your cells, and you have 100 trillion of them. Miles of interstitial spaces. So it's a big deal, but it's a lot of fun. It's easier than you think. The body loves to heal itself and come clean, and you just do that. Turn yourselves back on. Turn yourself back on to life. You know, we're getting imploded here in this physical world with the mind and all the negativity and all the radiation and all this. Pull back from that. Get yourself free. Spend some time alone. Hug yourself and love yourself. And then start hugging everybody else. You know, about 40-some years ago, me and another buddy were both fruitarians, decided we started hugging people. Well, some people didn't appreciate that, because that's way, way, way back in the early 70s. They didn't understand. A hug? You see all the people, the heart isn't open. Go hug someone, you can tell if their hearts are open or not. But give love to everyone, but particularly give yourself plenty of love. You deserve it. Each and one of you are beautiful souls, and treat each other with respect. One doesn't have to get over on another. Doesn't serve anybody well. When you have what you need in life, when you're hooked to God, and you're consciously awake, and you know how to get your body healthy, your physical body, we're teaching you how to get your emotional and mental bodies healthier as well. Life changes drastically for you, and your future becomes something of a whole nother experience. One you really want to take on. So we love you. You guys take care of yourselves. I'll see you in about a week. Namaste.